And we are live! Thank you everyone for coming. I certainly hope that we will be as entertaining as we always are. We are the Crafty Boys, and we sit around, we drink beer, and we talk about life because we're just at that particular stage in our lives where if we don't talk about life, we will just cease to exist and die unknown to the rest of humanity. So, this podcast will keep us in the zeitgeist for the next 324 years. How's it going, boys?
Going great.
Good. My camera is working this week. What's not working this week is my audio.
You can't hear us still?
I can very barely hear you.
Question. I noticed you're only using one earbud, or are you using two? I can't tell.
Sorry?
Yes.
Come, Sonny.
Hang on. Hey, just hold on. We got you, man. We got you. Here we go. Nope, that's not the one I want. I don't want that one. Here we go. Alan, can you hear me? There we go. So, hey, Alan, can you hear me? Hey, Alan, can you hear me?
Yeah, that time I could.
Well, I had to scream for that. But anyway, so today we're going to be talking about whatever the hell, and let's drink some beer. Dave, you're on the one side of the screen. How about you start by showing us what you have? And by the way, does anybody here have the same beer as Dave? I assume not, but I thought I would ask. No?
Locke was going to try. I
Dave
think Alan and I
are supposed to have the same beer.
Oh,
okay.
Actually, I think I maybe forgot that we were doing that. Nobody emailed me, so.
All right.
The Muskoka Hazed and Confused Juicy IPA. Alan, you've got it too.
I've got it.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome.
Okay, all right.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm
Where the hell did you get that can from, man? That's incredible.
His camera is stripping out a lot of it. So anyway, Alan and Dave, tell us about this beer.
Well, I saw it at Cascadia here in Victoria. I'm not sure why it's available here in Victoria. I'm going to assume it's because the owner of Muskoka also is part owner of Vancouver Island Brewing. But for whatever reason, It's here in Victoria. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to do a show where Locke has the same beer. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. But that's okay. We are trying some from Muskoka, and I'm sure that Locke has had.
Yes, I actually have had it.
Yeah. So he can give us his input. Dave will be able to hear it. I won't. Yeah.
Okay.
Good Lord, technology, eh?
I know,
okay,
huh?
so I guess we
weird.
should crack it open. So Locke, do you want to tell before Dave and I try this? Do you want to tell us your thoughts on the beer?
Okay, so first of all, let me say that Muskoka's Mad Tom is sort of their. It was their first attempt at doing a strong flavored IPA. Now, what's interesting about it, as opposed to other IPAs that I'd had, is that it was the first time I noticed that there might be such a thing as an Ontario IPA, as opposed to a Northeast IPA. And what made it a little different was that it was much maltier than your Northwest IPA, and it didn't have the fruit juice flavor of your New England style IPA. Now, the Mad Tom Juicy was their attempt at then doing something that was more like a Northeast New England style IPA. Oh, sorry, the Hazed and Confused. That's right. But you see the character they've got there, the guy with the mustache. That's Mad Tom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this was them taking that recipe and taking it in a direction that was, more like a sort of a New England IPA, something that's got that sort of those notes of citrus or whatever. Um, as you know, I'm not overly enamored with that particular style, but what I will say is that Muskoka have sort of stayed a little bit true to having I thought, a stronger sort of malty kind of backbone to the drink than many of the sort of really fruit punch kind of tasting sort of Lapulin powder kind of IPAs that you get sort of from the New England style.
Right. Okay.
What
So
do you think?
You can tell Alan is like, what? I have no idea what Locke just said.
I caught most of it. It might be my headphones actually. Think about it. These are old headphones. Okay, so I had a little bit of a quick taste of first of all, the scent. Very fruity smell. Taste immediately like fruit punch kind of thing. Very different from some of the other IPAs that I'm used to, like say Fat Tug or even Freshly Squeezed from Deschutes, which I would say is also a very good IPA. I'm not too sure if I'm really big on the whole fruit punch kind of flavor profile of these kinds of IPAs. I prefer more the piney, or even maybe it's like a bit of an orangey kind of flavor, like with Fresh Squeezed.
Sort of a brighter sort of citrus flavor as opposed to this, which has almost sort of like a sangria kind of a funk to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
What's the alcohol content on this? 6.5%. I mean, it's not a bad beer by any stretch. It's flavorful. I don't know if I get it again though. Dave, what are your thoughts?
I would say this tastes like some other similar, I guess the hazy style maybe is kind of, it's what they do with hazy, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I think what Locke's saying is this is more of an East Coast.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't know if I've even had East Coast, so I got nothing to base it on. But I recognize the flavor is all I can say. I've had similar where I get the fruit punch that you guys are talking about, right? It's got that that mix of the citrus going on there. It's not bad. It's got a I don't even know how to put it, like a sharp edge to it. I don't have the words to describe it properly. I want to say like sour, but I don't think that's right either.
Really?
Yeah. Like
I'm not getting any of that.
Maybe like the, what I think it is? It's a little bit of the peel. Like if you're having something that's more marmalade-y, I think there's a little bit of that going on maybe.
Okay, like a little bit of zest.
Yeah. That's I think maybe kind of what I'm getting here. I don't know. I'm not a fan of marmalade, so I avoid that stuff. But
Are you enjoying
minding this? I'm not minding this. I
have to ask a question.
Eh.
Why do you avoid marmalade? What's wrong with marmalade? Are you afraid of marmalade? Is it like some sort of blob-like thing you think is going to like come to life and eat you? Is that sort of why? I'm just curious why you don't like marmalade.
Well, there's bad memories there. I'd rather not discuss.
It all takes us back to Knob.
It's kind of triggering for me, so I'd rather not go there if that's okay.
Okay.
There's this time at band camp.
No,
All right, well,
I
hey,
don't wanna
fair
make
enough,
light
fair
of all
enough,
that
man.
stuff,
If
but
you're
no, I do not like marmalade. I just don't like that kind of really bitter, you know, whatever. And I guess
Like
that's part of why some beers, if they're skidding in that direction, those are the ones I'm not as much a fan of, which I think is why I'm more the guy that's okay with the fruit punch than you guys are, because you're more like
Yeah.
getting more toward, like I don't know, a proper beer, whatever. I don't know how you want to put it, but and I'm the guy that's totally fine with like, tastes like tastes like fruit punch, full on. I mean, one of my favorites is actually, and this still kind of surprises me, Locke. This was your suggestion, and I think this was within the first few months of us doing this.
Hmm.
The Duchesse de Bourgogne. Don't know if you
Oh
remember
yeah.
that one. That Belgian, and I believe it was billed as a sour. I don't know if you guys remember, but I
Yes.
swear it was billed
Yeah.
as
Well,
a
it's.
sour.
I think that it might have been. Yeah. They probably listed it as such in the catalog.
Right. And I'm like, I could easily drink another couple of these things, like they were seriously non-beer, to my palate anyways. They were really, sweet. Straight up, they were quite sweet, I found. So it surprised the hell out of me because I thought, well,
Sort of
sour?
cherry cola with a dash of balsamic.
Yeah, it's it's probably not a bad way of putting it.
Hmm.
Whereas this is more a beer. Um, and I wouldn't get this one again, but I think honestly the biggest part of it is there's just too damn many beers to try, and I'm more like,
Uh,
it's interesting. My attitude coming into this has always been, I'm here because I want to try shit,
mm.
and so even though I've had some that I really enjoyed and thought were great, I'm still like, yeah, but there's hundreds of others that I need to try. So,
Mm.
um, I guess if somebody had this in their fridge and I was there and they said, "Hey, this is what I got," okay, sure. I'm not going to be.
You wouldn't turn your nose up at it.
I would not turn my nose up at it. No,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's a decent beer. And I think as far as the hazies go, I probably kind of like those better than the other, like Ellen's talking about, that more piney. Might be worth getting something more in that vein just so I can try something like that and see what you're talking about, Alan. So keep your eyes open and see what you find. And I'll see if I can, get
The
that as
Green
well.
Flash Imperial IPA, the Imperial Double IPA, Green Flash Imperial Double IPA. That's pine like for knock your block off.
We're we're talking like a cut block's worth of pine. It sounds like.
Oh yeah. No, that's an exciting example of that.
it's not a Mr. Needles, I bet, but
Oh yeah, Mr. Needles is yeah. I mean that's one that sadly I missed, but you and Shane I think had that.
we'll save one for you next time.
Yeah. Do that.
I don't know. That sounds kind of intense, guys. I don't know if
It is really intense.
Shane, what are you drinking this?
I mean, I want to. I think like you guys are always talking about Fat Tug setting the bar, right?
Oh
And,
yeah.
I
That
know
might
I've
be true.
appreciated some Fat Tug. I don't think I've had that much of it, but I know I've tasted some of it, and it was quite good. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I think something that's legit, has a pine to it. I would just like to try to see what it is that you guys are talking about. We're talking about pine, because I don't know if I've actually had something that's got that to it at this point. So be,
Well,
be nice
well,
to try.
good challenge.
Something.
Yeah, if you guys find something, let's see if we can do it up. It'd be good.
So Shane, what are you drinking?
What am I drinking tonight? The peanut gallery is hovering somewhere nearby. They keep checking to see if I've opened the beer. But anyway, tonight's adventure is again from Wild Eye Brewing. It is. I gotta put my glasses on for this because this can is blue with white writing. It's called Oh Yeah.
Oh,
It is a blue raspberry candy sour, rocking in at 5% alcohol by volume, and there's absolutely no story on it. Yeah, thank you. It's got some blue raspberry.
Like nerds.
That could very well be what's about to happen here. I don't know. I picked this one up randomly. It was right beside the.
How do you pick something up randomly? Do you just
Well, I picked up
reach
the
out your
Wild
hand
Eye.
and it just falls in, or
He took his
no,
glasses
I saw the other Wild Eye that we had last week,
okay.
and I thought, well, there's another one, and it has an interesting can. It also apparently has. I really don't know what this is going to be like. So, oh my! So check that out. It's a very sort of hazy, kind of unfiltered thing, but really effervescent, like bubbles everywhere.
Bubbles.
It smells like candy. And now, before I drink this, I must now recite a prayer. Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty.
Now, would you want a beer that tastes like candy?
That, you know what this tastes like? Raspberry candy nerds, like the nerds stuff.
Really?
I'm saying, Doc.
Right? Yeah. I thought,
Like just like that, or like beer with those candies in it? Or does it just straight taste like liquid nerds?
It does not taste like beer. It tastes like fruit juice with candy in it. So, as advertised on the can, I cannot fault them for that. Hey, Peanut Gallery.
So
I'm gonna
I have
drink
a
all your beer.
question.
Yes.
So last week we had 2 Wild Eye brewing products, and both of them had a very weird flavor on the back end. It was kind of sour, but like there was an emptiness to it. Do you detect that with this beer?
Nope, I do not. Nope, I do not. Yeah, that one last week, it definitely had that the post-drink regret, or mild regret, where you swig it down and you're like, "Oh, this is okay, right?"
It tastes
you know what?
good.
Honestly, it's fine.
Not.
But this one is just so different compared to last week. This is like, and it's a class of its own. It smells like a Radler. It kind of tastes like a Radler, with a huge kick of sugary goodness, which I'm not totally on board with yet. But
you know, I've never actually had a Radler. Like, I look at the alcohol content and I'm like, why? Why would I pay money for this?
I think we've had Radlers on the show. I think we did a Radler episode like 4 years ago.
I mistakenly drank a Radler one night. No. There's some context here. On an evening,
thinking like, oh God.
on an evening where otherwise I had been drinking, cocktails and stronger drinks, and later in the evening I had a Radler, not being totally clear on what it was, and it was lethal. It turned what had otherwise, up until that point, been a fairly pleasant, if high alcohol drunk, into something quite nasty, and I ended up vomiting my guts out.
I was just gonna say, like, I could picture you like being like, okay, so what? Oh yeah, okay. What? The hell have you tried to serve me?
What is this poison?
Anyway.
A2 Brutus?
So is there potentially a sugar factor where at some point this might get kind of barfy?
Well, the sour is covering up a lot of the failings of this beer.
Okay, that's fair.
So, like you get that sugary sort of blue raspberry candy taste, but then the sour kind of, side smacks you and it makes it so it's not so incredibly sweet.
So you wouldn't.
So you know what?
So you wouldn't want to drop that whatever it was that we had, the stuff that makes everything taste sweet, and then drink a lot of that.
No, God no.
Yeah.
Actually, what I would do with this beer, if I were to have it again, I would put ice cubes in it. Like I would drink it like a juice kind of thing, like it's summertime. Like right now, you're on the back patio. You've got your, whatever, and you pour like 2 or 3 of these things into a thing, because it actually has. I don't know if you noticed this earlier, but let's see if I can actually. Yeah, right there. So it is actually a picture on the front.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh my God! Supposed to be like
hence the name, right? So that is what I kind of like pouring like a 4-pack or whatever these
wall, because that would be too much.
Yeah,
but, yeah.
And then you throw a bunch of ice cubes in it, and it even if it dilutes a bit, it's definitely still going to come through that sour flavor.
Can you imagine then making that into, say, like a Slurpee kind of thing, like a slushy?
That is not a terrible idea. That is actually a really good idea for this, because you could take this and flavor, put it into your ice cream maker or whatever you want to do, like a
slushy machine.
Like a slushy machine, thank you. And that would be it. That would actually work. Like,
well, it's
very
been
rarely
done
do we
before.
run.
I mean, not necessarily with that beer, but Phillips in the summer actually makes beer slushies.
Really?
Yeah, that you can get at their tap room.
Cool.
I haven't done it myself, but I would like to.
Well, we'll have to try it out. So, Locke, have you talked about your beer yet?
No, I haven't. So I apologize, because we did have this idea, but week to week things get mad around here, and so I'm sorry, I didn't remember. Next time we try to do that, we must all email each other and just so there's something for me to tag as a reminder. But so this week, what I got though, part of it was because I was distracted by something that I have been thinking about for some time, as you know. About this time last summer, I went down this trip of what's missing in craft beer today. Out of all of the stuff that there's too much of, like, hazy IPAs, what's missing? What are things that nobody out there is really addressing that actually I'd really like to see something on the market that's competing with what is right now a monolithic, sort of monoculture of massive corporations all doing the same thing. And what I was looking for was something that was clean, easy drinking, refreshing, perfect for hot weather, right? And so I started going down. What about Asahi Super Dry, right? Who's competing with Asahi Super Dry in the craft beer section? And really, I didn't see very much there. Well, that has changed. Somebody evidently saw things the way I did, and Foley Brewing in Toronto have come out with a rice lager. As you can see, we have a sort of a pagoda on the tin here.
Yep.
It's very clearly intended to be an Asian style lager. It clocks in at 5%, so it's kind of right on the money where that usually goes, where you're getting that kind of thing. Um, contains water, malted barley, hops, yeast, and rice. So barley and rice goes into this.
Interesting.
And it was produced by Foley Brew Pub. So I gather they're a pub as well as a brewery. I have not visited their pub, but we'll probably do so after this. And what I can tell you is it is exactly what I was hoping for. It's crisp, not super flavorful, but it's got a sort of a satisfying, sort of slightly skunky back end.
Okay. Slightly skunky back end.
Like in the way of a Heineken or maybe a Qingdao. It's crisp, clean finish, but there's a fair bit of complexity going on in the flavor as you're quaffing it. And I think that there's something, it's not so much what there is in here, because what there is fine, but that just tastes like normal beer, if we're being honest. It's refreshing beer, it's nice, clean drinking beer, all of that's great. But here's what's missing. What's missing is that irritating flavor that for some reason you get in any product that's, cranking out millions of units, in a given minute. That sort of slightly industrial, unhappy cows somewhere in the back of your mind kind of flavor. There's something mechanical, something it's a little bit off. It sort of dangles in the back of your mouth that just it doesn't quite. This is just so wholesome tasting by comparison that it's. Now, that's not to say anything about the quality of the conduct of the people making it. For all I know, Foley are a bunch of criminals who are, out torturing, children, feeding children to cats, feeding cats to children, all kinds of bad things. But whatever the truth of the matter is, the flavor of this beer tastes pristine. It tastes wholesome.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, I'm back on the beating children or whatever that was.
Conduct.
That's awesome.
Beating children to cats and cats to children, I think, is probably where I lost you. I mean, that loses most people, but that's why I use it.
So,
I think I got a notification on my phone. Yes, Shane, your mom reacted to our video 9 minutes ago.
Sorry,
Uh,
that was what distracted me.
Okay.
I don't know.
By the way, you guys,
It confuses me more. This was sent 9 months ago, or
No,
No,
9 minutes ago.
9 minutes ago. Okay.
I wanted to let you guys know before we go any further, I fixed my audio issue.
Oh, really? What was it?
Oh, good.
I think because I plugged my headphones directly into my microphone, I have an audio out on the microphone, and I switched it to the computer, and it's perfect now. I think my microphone is dying. It's been doing weird things lately. And
By the way, my mother sent us a what is the thing you do with your
Don't do
hands?
that.
A heart.
girls
Remember
do that.
No,
you can do that. You can do that.
Heart. She sent us a heart, by the way. Anyway,
Do this.
so basically, the beers we have this week are from across the country. They all look fairly reasonable. Yeah. And by the way, we are just a month away. Yesterday was a month
Beer Fest.
away from Beer Fest.
Yes,
in Victoria.
I'm well aware. I'm so excited.
I'm well aware. I'm going to go to Beer Fest.
I'm
and
going
I'll-
to Beer
I will
Fest.
happily die then. Yeah, no, Beer Fest, of course, in a month's time, which I'm kind of excited about.
And I'm happy to report, and Shane, I think I already told you this. I managed to get the day off work, so
Oh,
we
you
can
did.
go and have our customary
Fat Burger.
fat burger before
We have to go to the
load
Fat
up
Burger
on
before we
carbs and
go,
grease,
and then not die.
and then not.
Because why not? So Fat Burger, of course, is going to be the Dave. You have to come. No,
Yes.
wait a minute, Dave. You are coming, right? We think we got you a ticket, did we not?
No. At least if you did, you never said anything. And I haven't looked, so I don't know if there's any tickets left.
Dave,
I still don't know if
go
that's
ask your girlfriend for permission.
something I can do.
Go ask your significant other for permission.
That is not who / what I need permission from.
Okay.
But yeah.
Is it your mom?
Is it your mom? Is your mom need to give you permission? We can call her. We can call her right now. We can get her live on the show. Can Dave come up and play? We would like Dave to come play. What can you do? But basically, yeah. So there you go, Dave. If you can come, dude. We've been planning this for months, every single year.
It's been 3 years. This is the first one in 3 years. This should have been, I think, the 30th anniversary, like the 30th year, but it's not because
COVID derailed it for
COVID.
2 years in a row. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is 28.
It's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy myself.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. And yeah. There's apparently a new brewery in the Greater Victoria area. It opened in Sydney recently, called Small Gods Brewing.
Small Gods Brewery.
I don't know much about them. Just that they're in Sydney. A whole lot of I had a look at their lineup. A lot of haziness going on there. But interesting. It was let's see if I still have it up here. Yeah, so it was started up by Chris Beresgard, who is a veteran of the province's craft brewing industry, and his partner is Sierra Sky Gemma. Well,
the heck is
I'm
that?
not sure.
It does look very cool, though.
It'd be worth checking out. I think
Sierra Sky Gamma a girl's name, or is that?
I'm going to assume yes, but I don't know for sure. I don't know any guys named Sierra.
But I guess what I'm asking is, that's not an organization, is it?
No, I think that's
a person.
That's a person, yes. I don't know who she is, or I'm assuming she is someone of some importance in the brewing industry.
Were they?
Yes. But I think it would be worth checking them out, and then at the same time going to Category 12 in Central Sandwich.
Oh, yeah. Well, that sounds like
a beer tour.
That's actually not a terrible idea. I mean, I really like this idea
You
that
could potentially do it with an Uber too, or
there's no Uber in Victoria.
They don't have Uber in Victoria.
Taxi or a bus or something.
Yeah. We're still using stone tablets with chisels over here. So.
Well, it's true. I'm actually kind of excited because I'm hoping, knock on wood, that the maybe not this year, but next year.
I'd knock on wood if we had that technology.
Yes, what Alan said.
I mean, most people over here, I mean, the English language is very simple. It's only 2 words. It's unga and bunga.
Uh-oh, here comes Chongo. That's a reference going back.
Danger Island.
Those are the those are the days, man.
The banana
Actually,
split.
I just noticed today that at lunchtime I was watching a TV show, and one of the performers in it, one of the actors, I thought I had seen before, so I went and looked up their bio on IMDb, and found out that there is this continual churning out of content from Scooby Doo. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I cannot tell you how many cartoons Scooby Doo. So I fell down that rabbit hole looking at how many shows that this character had been in. I'm surprised. I'm so surprised.
You want to know one of the things that really does my head in is that the Scooby Doo I grew up on was all about debunking people using mysticism and other kinds of hocus pocus to fool people while they were committing some sort of crime, right? And it was sort of unmasking it as, well, this is actually really just a facade and they're just tricking you. Whereas
Old Man
today,
Withers from the amusement park.
whereas today, the way it's like totally inverted, where now the gang are going around showing that actually mysticism is all real and Western science is just make believe. It's pretty weird.
So I just looked this up. This is actually quite stunning.
The other big change from the Scooby Doo that we watched as youngsters is Fred always had a kerchief on, and the newer ones he does not.
What
So-
is the world coming to?
I don't know what to even think. So here's the list. So these are the seasonal TV. This is the TV series stuff for Scooby Doo. So Scooby Doo, Where Are You? Now, of course, we remember that one quite well. The Scooby Doo show, of course, I remember.
Yes.
Scooby and Scrappy Doo was a thing for a while.
Absolutely.
But down here, you'll actually see that it's just continued. There was a show in the aughts there. This was a show. This is a show. The Guess Who. Like, apparently there's an HBO Max of Velma. I don't even know what that is. And Scooby Doo and the Mystery Pups is not coming until 2024.
Well, it looks like that Velma one is still to be announced.
Like, I don't get. Like, it
potentially
surprises me.
or something?
Is it sorry?
I don't. I'm just wondering why you would make a show about Velma.
Velma's hot.
Well, exactly, right?
Totally. Totally. Between Velma and Daphne, I'm picking Velma.
Velma would be the kinky one, no question about it.
Oh, totally.
Oh yeah,
Totally. She's got a thong underneath that, right?
It's you'd walk into the bedroom, and be like, "Hi, I'm here," and then suddenly, your hands are strapped to the wall, or you're hanging from the ceiling, or something upside down.
Yeah.
And she comes in with a crop.
My glasses! I can't see anything without my glasses.
Every episode, she loses her glasses at some point. And what does Fred do every episode? Does he get beat up?
No, he wears his
He does
kerchief.
all of exactly nothing, is what I recall him doing.
He drives
he
the
just-
van.
He drives. True, he does drive the van. What is Daphne's thing every episode?
She says jinkies.
And of course, we know what Scooby Doo and Shaggy do all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Everybody knows what they're
A
doing.
lot of weed. I just picture Daphne and Fred and Velma get out of the thing and they close the doors and Shaggy and Scooby are still in the car and they're waiting and they're just like hotboxing the van. Like, that's all I can picture them doing. Like,
Scooby Dooby Doo. When you really stop and think about it, how did they even get away with that? Like,
Well, just look at what was that? From the Croft Superstars. Their very first show that they put out, it was HR Puffin Stuff.
oh wow.
with the what's his name? They got the magic flute, and he goes to the to the magic land with the talking mushroom.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. I mean, come on.
Let's all go to the. That's so disturbing. I don't even.
Literally, there was mushrooms talking. I wanted to say that the actor was Jake Lloyd, but it was not Jake Lloyd. Jake Lloyd from The Phantom Menace.
Poor Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, no, it was way before that. Don't remember the name of the kid.
What, HR Puffin stuff?
HR Puffin stuff.
Isn't that actually going to have a new thing? Like, isn't there actually?
Oh my god, probably.
Okay, so HR
but it won't be.
Stuff,
it won't be as good.
So HR Puffin stuff had a 17 episode run from September to December of 1969. So, I'm trying. Let me share.
Who was the kid in it? It was the same one who played. Who was in Oliver?
So Jack Wild.
Okay, maybe it wasn't the same one.
So this kid, yeah. Oh, he's dead? Oh, well,
he's dead? No way.
He died at 53. Why did he die?
That sucks.
Oral cancer. That's just brutal. Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, so a magic flute on a magical island with talking mushrooms. How did they get away with that?
Well, it's obviously taking a influence from a certain book by a certain guy about Alice and a rabbit and a bunch of other dudes running around. Maybe. I mean, the dragon was the mayor.
Was he a dragon? Is that what he was supposed to be?
Apparently.
He looked like Mayor McCheese.
Well, here's the thing: is that if you come back here. If you look here, fast food chain McDonald's plagiarized the series concept for its long advertising campaign, McDonald Land. Yeah, they were sued by the Croft brothers.
Oh, I believe that.
Honestly, does not surprise me.
I totally believe that because, I remember the McDonald Land commercials, and it totally screamed HR Puffin stuff. Absolutely. But the Croft brothers made like tons of really good shows, including like Land of the Lost. I would say is probably the most popular.
Land of the Lost, the land of the lost.
Yeah, it didn't go like that at all. But there was the Bugaloos, which had the
Bugaloos.
The Bugaloos.
Not to be confused with
of course they. Hanna-Barbera's Banana Splits. That's where they got their sort of start. It looks like.
Yeah. And also two of my favorites from the Croft brothers is Wonder Bug.
Oh yeah, Wonder Bug,
and Sigma and the Sea Monsters. Oh, and Dr. Shrinker. You can't forget about Dr. Shrinker. Dr. Shrinker had Billy Barty in it.
I miss Billy Barty. So here's a brand new quote that's going to be featured on the show. For the rest of our entire existence. Marty Croft saying, "No drugs were involved. You can't do drugs when you're making shows. Maybe after, but not during. We're bizarre, that's all." Apparently that was from an interview in 2005 from USA Today. He was responding to the alleged LSD use during the show. That was our look. Those were our colors. Everything we did had vivid colors, but there was no acid involved. That scared me. I'm no goody two shoes, but you can't create this stuff while stoned. So there you go. Which to me, honestly, is I remember back in the day, back in high school, I had this English professor at high school, English teacher called
Back in high school, you had an English professor
Mr.
in high
Mr.
school?
Mr. Aish. Mr. Aish was this guy who was like this free
Yeah.
spirited kind of dude, lived out in Machosen, running around naked in his backyard. But I saw him actually just probably 2018, 2019. Actually, maybe Locke, you were with me. Saw him in the street.
I
He was in his riding gear.
But yeah, but no. I ran into him around about the same time. Yeah, like you say, in his riding gear. Yeah, I mean, the dude was into motorcycles.
But I'll never forget the one thing that he always told me, and this is what makes me think of this, is that he said that when he was in university and he was writing papers for classes, he said, "Yeah, I got into this mode where I thought, if I drank a lot of red wine, my writing would just explode from my brain, and all this creativity would come to the surface." And then he said he remembered after a couple of weeks of doing that, he was reading stuff, going, "Oh, this is pretty good. This is pretty good." And then he could just watch the decline, and it's like, "Oh God, what have I? This is garbage. What did I do? Why did I think this was a good idea?" So yeah, apparently Marty Croft knows that problem. You can't do this high, and you can't do this drunk.
So let me ask you, Shane. So you saw your high school teacher just a few years ago. Did he remember you?
He does remember me because he sponsored me for something at University of UVic. AA, yeah. He was my AA sponsor. No, what the hell was it? It was some sort of writing thing, like some sort of writing internship thing that I did for like a couple of months. But I had to have somebody reference me from my high school English class. This was second year, I think. Second year. And so I actually went to Mount Doug and like banged on the door, or not Mount Doug, Cedar Hill, banged on the door, and I'm like, "Dude, hi." He's like, "Hey Shane, how are you? I need this thing," and he had to write a letter and stuff like that, and that sort of thing. So ever since then, yes, he remembers me because I think we drank beer once at some point. I don't recall. Was that him? I'll never forget my favorite.
Sounds like him. He had an old school record player in his classroom.
Yes.
That he would play old vinyl on, and he had a custom made podium, which apparently somebody took offense to, and
the black star on the top of it.
Yeah.
I love that podium.
The black star. Somebody took offense to it. What?
They thought he was like a Satanist or something.
Yeah, which wasn't, but
It did like make upside me down or something?
Wasn't the sort of guy who would, with a straight face, explain that, well, no, I wasn't part of a biker gang. I was part of a motorcycle club.
All right. Fair enough.
So, so I mean, it was pretty cool to think about those days. But overall, this particular week, the beer has been successful. We've all enjoyed the beer.
Mm.
We're looking forward, except Dave, to Beer Fest.
Yes.
What else are we looking forward to? And this is me segueing into, so how much time Locke has to wait for his exam results to come back? And
right. So I looked into it. So remembering that these are scantrons, and so the way they work is you put them in a machine, and then, right, 8 weeks.
What?
It's going to take them 8 weeks to deliver results.
Wow.
Now,
presumably they'll be going through each one, by hand individually and making sure that each of the little bubbles is properly filled in.
Yeah. Are they using Tandy 800s or?
Probably, to be honest. I was watching this TV show a little while ago called Young Sheldon, which is like a spin-off of Big Bang Theory. And it's a complete candy mind turn-off brain show that I like because I can ignore it. But the one thing I can't ignore is the computer that he has in, like the second or third season. He gets a computer, and the computer is the model just before the one that I got when I was that age. So I was very pleased about that. Just the fact that you can see that bit of history, and apparently it really operates. Like they had this machine that still runs. So yeah, it's shocking actually, to be honest. But
That's
back
kinda
in the
cool.
day,
I
yeah,
wish I
except
could make my old XT work. I kind of miss those days, to be honest, because I think computing was like better back then.
It was
there is an
certainly more
argument to be
fun.
made.
But my God, yeah, no, I think that the sweet spot of that technology of home computing happened like decades ago.
Yeah, like I miss
When,
DOS.
you remember 2 decades ago? Can you imagine 2 decades ago if a word processor had crashed while doing word processing?
Yeah, I actually,
It happened.
I had that happen a few times with. I had a cartridge based. My very first word processor was called like Word Script or Word
Yeah, but
something.
that's not 20 years ago, Shane. That's 30 years ago.
Oh, okay, sorry. That's more than we're old. 20 years ago? Yeah, I suppose. I mean, back in the
20 years
day.
ago, it was a stable technology, and everybody could use it to benefit themselves in the face of, oh my God, yeah, there's some
Yeah,
possibility that I can do it this way. I don't have to, but I can. And that's cool because now I can do this way. That's cool. Now you have to do it this way. And now that you have to do it
yeah.
this way, does it work all the time? No, it doesn't work all the time. Why would it work all the time? You have to do it this way. So it doesn't matter if it fucks up. That's just, you got to wait. That's just part of life.
Well, it's like the guy who writes the Game of Thrones books. He still writes on a version of WordStar that's like
Yeah.
25 years old, 30 years old kind of thing, because he doesn't trust newer stuff and that's what he likes. So and he has this computer that,
Yeah.
I guess is main. I mean, the guy's got, I don't know, scads of money. So he could probably pay, I need this XT to run now. Okay, great, no problem. But yeah, that's apparently how he writes his books, which I thought was kind of cool. Although I did read recently that Stephen King still does it all by hand. Like that's how he writes his first drafts. Everything is by hand, which I think is brilliant.
I think
Absolutely.
Neil Gaiman does that too, actually. He says he buys like a book, right? When he starts writing something new, he'll buy himself a fresh book and he writes first draft out, I believe is
Yeah.
what he said.
Look. I believe that's an important part of a writing process because you can't, correct it as like any
Yeah.
correction you make, it's going to be lines on pages, and and you don't want to do that, and so there's an imperative to move on, move forward. If it's imperfect, that's fine. It's going to be imperfect, so you keep writing and you keep writing, and you right, and that's what first drafts have to be. You need to be able to keep going. If you get hung up and start editing while you're trying to write, now you're not writing anymore. Now you're sitting there looking at your navel. You know what I mean?
True.
That's a good
Have
point.
you not experienced that? I sure have.
Yeah, I have. To be honest, like I do professional writing. Nothing big, just blog posts for advertorial things. And I find that I do that. I'll edit as I'm writing, but I'm also on the clock, right? I'm only getting paid so much to do this thing, so I want to get it done as quickly as possible. So so I find myself doing that. Like I'm typing out and I'm just kind of like riffing, and I'm editing as I go.
So you'll go back and go over parts?
I'll do the first paragraph, edit it, get it the way I want it, and then I'll go from there. I'll write about another
Okay, but
five.
that's creating an anchor, and then you go in
Yeah,
and write the
yeah,
bottom. Yeah. Okay, that's sure. Okay.
yeah.
I just think if you confuse the writing process with the editing process too much, you end up doing exactly nothing. Because editing is about removing things, whereas writing is about adding things. And if you're, I mean, it's literally sucking and blowing at the same time, right?
That's how I think of it.
Sounds so good.
We're not children. You're children.
Dave, I want you to get tickets to get a ticket to Beer Fest. You have
and don't forget, the ticket should only
You know,
be
there's
for
something
Friday.
sort of weird going on with the way where Alan's head is. This it's not as true anymore. Yeah, it's still a little bit true, but it looks like whatever that is. Yeah, no, that's a microphone screen on Dave's side of the screen. When Alan was close in, it sort of looked like a shoulder pad.
It does match color-wise, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It
I
totally
didn't even
does.
think of
Hey,
it.
Dave, I'm coming into your area.
Congratulations, here I come.
Thing.
Oh, Dave.
Yeah, ain't pretty, but it sort of helps.
All right.
Okay.
On that note, boys and girls, it's time to go to bed. We're old and tired. But we'll see you all
Speak for
next week,
yourselves.
next Wednesday, where we live stream from about 8:30-ish or so, if we get our crap in order. But we'll see you all next week. And don't forget to drink good beer and tell people about the show, because we do this for fun. And if we want more people to enjoy our stunning personalities, I guess. Anyway, I was waiting for you guys to jump in and say, "No, we're amazing. Thanks a lot."
No, we're amazing.
Thanks a lot.
You want to see it?
Thank you.
Don't strain yourselves.
Okay.
Good night, everybody. Bye. And love us forever.